Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of AdventureQuest RC where we're mashing up the TRX4 to the SCX10 2. Look at that. Oh my goodness, the TRX has so much more oomph to it and speed. It's wonderful. Now, the SCX10 has one modification, well, a couple modifications if you notice the bumper's missing. And it's running the Ascender tires on it. The bumper missing is mainly because it broke, but I didn't replace it because the bumper just gets in so much trouble all the time. Now, there's a lot of videos out there talking about how awesome the TRX4 is, and to give it credit, it is quite amazing with all the different features it has. And in reality, I believe it's probably the more realistic truck of the two. If you notice in this particular scene, it was spinning on the left tires, the right tires were stuck. And then I flipped the switch and was able to pull out of that stuck scenario. It's pretty cool, it's just like having an ARB locker. It's wonderful. But in reality, the only time you're gonna really use it is to disconnect the front locked axle to be able to turn sharper in some of the more technical areas. But in reality, when you're crawling around, once you've had it for a while, you start realizing that you just don't use the unlocked feature as often as you would think. At least I don't. Now, at the time of this filming, this machine was brand new. I have since used this quite a bit more and have learned all the little quirks and details and just gotten into the habit of leaving everything locked. It is pretty realistic though, and that's what the TRX4 really, in my opinion, is designed for. It's a scale crawler, truly scale. The SCX10, it's great, it performs well, but if you're pitting up the SCX10 versus the TRX, the SCX10 is going to pull away in almost every area that I can find anyway, at least in stock form. With one minor or relatively major exception, and that is ground clearance between the axles. It is far superior. I have a shot toward the end. If you want to zoom to the end, you're more than welcome to do that. But toward the end of the video, I do have a shot where it shows how much greater the clearance is between the two. Now, this is a scene that depicts, as you can tell, how much more difficult it is for the TRX4 to get up this hill. I mean, they really work hard at coming up this hill. I think they spilled their coffee at least 4 or 5 times trying to get up this hill. I mean, going back and forth, absolutely crazy. But it's fun. Poor people on the inside. I really do feel for them. But look at how realistic this looks. That's just one thing that Traxxas did well. They spent so much time on making sure every little detail worked with each other. That's great. One thing that you're going to have to get used to doing with this TRX4 is being able to bump the throttle or get some speed, wheel speed, before you hit a rock, and then be able to control it, smoothly releasing the throttle. If you get that mastered, you can do a lot more with this. But if you're not very skilled, I would say if you want to just go out and try to compete with your buddies, you're going to be happier with an SCX10 or a Viterra Ascender. Again, these are my opinions. And I'm sure that I'm going to get ridiculed for that. But how difficult is this to get up this little tiny hill? It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it really is. Play this back. We've been on this ascent for at least a couple of minutes now, and at this point, it's almost curious if you should just give up. But because I'm stubborn, I push through, and well, there you go. Here's another area where I think the SCX10 did really well. Now, perhaps it was just my skill in driving, and I just happened to get the the right line exact the first time. That's possible. I've run up this hill many times, and I've never really had any trouble with the SCX10, but as you see on this TRX, it just has, well, I don't want to spoil it, I gotta be quiet, I'm terrible. You don't want to know what's going to happen before it happens. It's so top heavy that it makes it nearly impossible to drive in some of these scenarios. You hear me talking like I just completely dogging this TRX4. I love this thing. I'm so glad I bought it. If I had it to do over again, I would absolutely buy it. With the expectation that it's going to be a scale rig. Now, if I were to put some time and money into getting the center of gravity lower and just doing some more modifications, I bet I can get this thing to be an amazing machine. But as it sits stock, if you were just talking about comparing stock for stock, it just doesn't quite have what it takes, in my opinion. Outside of looking just way cool. I know some of these scenes might appear a little bit long, and they are, but I wanted to give an accurate depiction of just the differences between these two machines. This SCX10, this was the first take. It's not like I had 7 or 8 different attempts to be able to get that right. That was the first go. Now, full disclosure, I did talk to the driver of this machine and did ask them to wear helmets because I had just a slight assumption that it might get a little rocky. Get it? They're on the rocks. Rocky. Is that just funny for me? Okay. I would be interested as to the performance with a different body. That's so much fun. If I had a bunch of friends who had TRX4s, this would be so much fun. I think it requires more skill, really, to drive this. And if that's, to some people, that's really important. Just having a fun time, right? So to some people, how scale it is might not be as important, or being able to compete might not be as important. Oh no! Watch out! Oh man, I'm glad they had those helmets. Whew. That's terrible. But if you want something that's challenging, oh my goodness, this thing is challenging. Beyond belief challenging. But it is fun. Oh my gosh, it's fun. You really have to learn how to apply the throttle and ram up against a rock with the TRX, where you don't necessarily as much with the SCX10. But as you can see in all of these videos, this SCX10 just blows the TRX4 out of the water. Speaking of out of the water, this SCX10 is the same one that I have done complete torture tests. You can look at previous videos to see what I've done. Completely submerged the truck. It's fallen off several, actually, no, not several, 2 100-foot drops on rocks, and it's still running great. That SCX10 has been an amazing truck. I did at one point have to clean the motor because it wouldn't actually work anymore. So the motor is getting old because I've just demolished it, but it's still running strong. The body's kind of gross, but that's okay. That just looks cool. It makes me want to take a trip to Africa. No idea why. It's not like there's a lot of desert around us in this scene, but I just want to go to Africa now. Here's a scene that depicts the difference between the portal axles. SCX10 got hung up, so this is the area where the TRX4 does so well. That engineering is wonderful, and it is far superior than anything else. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe, like, share, do whatever you want to, or pretend you never saw it. It doesn't really matter to me. But either way, thanks for watching, appreciate it. Have a great day, and get out there and go RCing. Get out and enjoy the outdoors, and go play with your friends. That's what this is about.